Travis Wayne Goodsell. So the church news told us yesterday, on Monday, that on Sunday, President Nelson and his wife and Elder Bednar and his wife gave a devotional to Europe. And it was exclusive. What we learned from the church news was just a YouTube video summary of that devotional. So unlike the previous week that had the 6 apostles doing devotionals, and they had each of them on YouTube, 3 of them were on the church's English, and then 3 of them were on the church's other languages channels. This one was a super sacred. It was exclusive. And the English were left out, unless you're Old English, which you were a part of it. And so there was no video made of it by the church. Little Nemo did a commentary and included clips from it. But today, found a guy, and so I obtained it and had to do some cutting, editing, and it's now being saved to my files. And I'll then after it saves, I'll then do another cut for just Nelson's talk and save that. So this video you'll not see until Wednesday morning. It is an hour and a half long, approximately. And I could easily do a whole video series based upon Nelson's talk alone. I understand why it is not on YouTube. There's medical misinformation. There's historical misinformation. There's church administration misinformation. There's church doctrine and gospel misinformation. He just lied through the whole thing. And just saying that is a conclusion, because for you haven't watched the video. And the majority of you do not know the techniques that are used by con men, specifically in the field of religion. Nelson pacified, flattered, and deceived. It comes from the Book of Mormon. Did you know that those are Lucifer's tactics? I will not be able to do any kind of series on these videos because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has destroyed me. And Mormons cheer that somebody is going to their freezing cold death because they justify it by labeling me in the box category of Korihor. So anything and everything I do and say is put in their mental little box for me as wrong, evil, bad misinformation. Because this is how con men deceive you. psychological trap using fallacy argument. Psychologists being the con men who create the con for other people to believe in and fall victim to the con, and then spread the con for which the con is self-fulfilled. But I can't do it because I lose my internet this week. You guys all know this if you've been watching my channel for probably a month now, 2 months. I've been telling you they got me. And I had to do this video to summarize it for you because nobody was picking up on all my videos to know what was going on. And YouTube could not wait. The church could not wait until Friday. So Travis Wayne Goodsell is shut down. I cannot post videos. And on top of that, their analog program has kicked in to keep it from other people's views. It's been several days now. No added views this whole time. It is becoming a ghost town. They do not want you to know the videos that I post, because I know the truth. Nelson told the EU viewers to go out and preach the gospel because you know the truth and you can answer their questions. But do you? See, what is the primary cause of my being destroyed? Is the church to blame or am I to blame? It's not a matter of opinion. There is a primary cause, and I gave that to you. January 1st, 1998. I went to the church. I had deciphered Paleo-Hebrew and had restored it because the first X took the computer and the files. So I had to get another computer and redo all the research. And so on January 1st, 1998, almost a year later, after the decipherment, came to the church and said Joseph Smith is a prophet, seer, revelator, and translator. Isn't that awesome? F. Michael Watson didn't think so. And a troublemaker file, number 36434, was created. The Church and Mormons believe Joseph Smith is a prophet, seer, revelator, and translator, but not under the same definitions I do. And so I'm the one who's wrong? In 325 CE, there was a Council of Nicaea held by Emperor Constantine. The Romans had failed to exterminate all of the so-called Christian groups. And so Constantine devised a plot to conquer them by extorting every single bishop to come to this council or they would not receive funding from Rome. And there was around 100. I'd have to look and see if they gave an actual number of bishops. One of them was anathematized as a result of this council. So they were not included. Their nature and character of God, Jesus, and their doctrine, gospel, was wrong. Well, but that's the whole point. Each and every single bishop's congregation had their own nature and character of Jesus and a different gospel as to faith, repentance, baptism, resurrection, the nature of man, the spiritual aspect. All of it was different. They had different scriptures. Each had a different gospel by a different author, claiming to be a Christian superhero. And over time, the knowledge was lost as to what they originally were. They were apocalyptic literature. And so, to have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they were 4 different natures and characters of Jesus. It's 4 different gospel types. If you go through it and pay attention. And yet Constantine screwed everything up. He forced unity, to have men decide what is Jesus, who he is. Men decided. Christians understand that, and they don't like that. That makes them uncomfortable. They act like Mormons when I say that Joseph Smith is a translator and Nelson is not. But I give examples of how Nelson is not and how Joseph Smith is, because I became a translator. I gained an actual testimony, a knowledge from witness, physical witness of the truth, not a spiritual witness opinion based on feelings. Nothing more than feelings. See, that's a different gospel in regards to faith. See, I know faith without works, completed works, is dead, such that I can reword it: seed without fruit is dead. An idea without a boat is dead. An idea without blueprints is dead. An idea without the house is dead. Etc., 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 etc. Mormons, faith without works, that's a spiritual witness. It's spiritual truth. And so when I tell you about the Christ, you don't believe me, because it's not your Christ that you worship, that you believe in. You claim to be Christian. Well, which Christian sect is your nature and character of Christ? because I'm willing to bet it'll fit into one of them, even the ones that were dismissed. So would that be the one true church that existed after Jesus, created by Constantine as real, and his apostles died off from? Yeah, well, that's all anachronism. Because Constantine was 325 CE. The Gospels were written prior to that. So if you impose Constantine and the word of man's interpretation on the Gospels, you've pulled an anachronism. You're lying and deceiving people about the truth of the record, the Word of God. You have corrupted it. And there are thousands of different Christian branch-offs. And every single one of them is different. They're not united. They're not all Christian. They're all divided. Methodists are not the same gospel as Baptists. And they aren't the same as Presbyterian. And they aren't the same as Lutheran. And they aren't the same as all the others. They're all different. It just depends on how much difference there is. And so in Mormonism, when Nelson generalizes to deceive Mormons, saying, we all know the truth, again I ask you, who is our Christ? And you will be wrong. Not a single Mormon believes in the true Christ. And that's the big con of Nelson and the prophets of this church since Brigham Young. This is why they want me silenced, so that you don't hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. They want me dead. And they've done it. This Friday, I lose my internet, and I am silenced permanently. And then the following week, yeah, well, I didn't have money for the internet, I'm not going to have money for rent. I get evicted. They set all this up. Remember I told you? People who were doing the bidding of the prophets all got fired. And purposely made sure to destroy me so that the new people would be able to wash their hands of the matter. Oh, sorry, you don't have money. No, you don't know anything about what happened. I'm sorry, can't help you. And so, yeah, I won't have time to do commentary videos on what Nelson did. In 2008, I filed a petition for a redress of grievances in the state. And apparently I should have done it in the federal court, because the state court interprets the First Amendment as an act of terrorism, and my petition as a weapon of mass destruction. They had the court documents sealed because of their false accusation. So not a single one of you would know and I just disappeared from the face of the earth in Utah's concentration camp, not prison. Because they didn't take me to trial. There was no trial. I was a terrorist. Because I dared to sue the church. And so Utah's Nazi concentration camp for me. It was supposed to be permanent. I was never to get out. But I got out. And then I found out that the church had paid the person who recommended to the judge that I be incarcerated indefinitely in the concentration camp. I found the money trail. And it's directly from the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who are all on that board to make financial decisions. And so I sued in the federal court. But they assigned a woman who had allowed a case against the church, Gaddy versus COP, to proceed. And so the Mormon judges in the federal court fired Justice First. And she was assigned to my case to dismiss it. But I dropped the bombshell. Because in our hearing, I told her, I got the money trail. I got the evidence that the church paid for my incarceration. And the little girls that snuck in the back row were all gasping. But the justice did nothing except allow me to refile. And so I had to figure out, how am I going to serve the church? There are deadlines. What do? I eventually figured it out. February 24th, 2020. Church got served. And if you go back and see other events around that time period, and especially after it, you'll see the bigger picture of where we are today. Just Judge Waddups is Mormon. He refused to recuse himself, and by refusing, he then refused to allow me to petition for a redress of grievances. Denied my First Amendment right in the federal courts, having the evidence of the church's guilt. So I sued a second time. RICO seditious conspiracy. You guys might recognize that one, because the magistrate judge who was to assign the case did as he was required and sent it to Attorney General Barr. And Barr came out that one weekend after receiving it and told prosecutors to use my charge against the church against Black Lives Matter protesters. They didn't. And just recently used it on Oath Keepers for January 6th. That was mine. I am the origin source for that. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has silenced my voice. YouTube, doing their bidding, silenced my voice. But I can't get any federal official to do their job to save America. Because I've been dropping bombshells against the church, exposing their whole plot to take over not just the United States, but the whole world. Even warning Russia that the church is going to try to stab Putin in the back. As much as they think they're going to stab the church in the back, because that's what criminals do. And so every video I do, I don't put this full context of background in the videos. And so too many people have incorrect information and just automatically dismiss me because it doesn't fit in their category box. I'm not asking you to be open-minded, because that's another category box that's going to deceive you. It's contradictory. You cannot believe in everything at the same time. Open-mindedness is a fallacious argument. It's like the alternate extreme of fallacy. It's a dichotomy, false dichotomy fallacy. And so I'm assuming this then is now my farewell video. Nelson said that they should listen to the prophets, seers, revelators of the latter days, and that there are 15 of them. They have no fruit. I have the fruit, in case you didn't notice. They're all fields of science, so that you can see with your eyes the fruit in the flesh, the consequences, the results. They think it's all spiritual stuff with a mantle, so that you're distracted and deceived with your feelings. So a prophet, one who makes predictions for the future. I did that, and they've come to pass. There have been some that were premature, but I've been accurate. Seer. I've corrected the church history. Knowledge of things that are past. I've exposed the church and their crimes and their lies right now, in present time. Things that are present. And I've exposed their plot for the future. Today I did another one, exposing the plot for the future, tying it all together. Putin's war is to set in motion the church getting the kingdom of Deseret. They had it premeditatively plotted with Russia. That's why Nelson came out and said, in a major city yet to be determined in Russia for a temple. Now we all know it's the Kiev temple, to be taken away from Ukraine. Revelator. Nelson and the prophets have done nothing to reveal any of the signs in the heavens. Not a single one of them this whole time. Even came out with a first presidency statement under Monson denouncing the pre-Latter-day sign in the heavens of the tetrad in 2014-2015, where 3 apostles died. That's their fruit, is denial, refusing to be revelators. But me? Nope. I saw them and I report them as I find them. The signs in the heavens, spot on. They're 100% accurate. All astronomers know those information. But I know how the ancients understood and interpreted them. It's not astrotheology crap. The first part is saved. They told scriptures, wrote them down as scriptures, based upon the movements and the characters, whether animal or human form, in the celestial bodies of the constellations of the zodiac and the planets and the celestial bodies, moon, sun, and comets and asteroids and meteor showers, all tied in together, all as their scriptures, all portraying the true original doctrine and temple ritual and prophecy. The church leaders know none of that. Only I have been giving you that exclusive information, because there's no one on the face of this earth who knows it. And then translator. They don't even claim translator anymore. After Joseph died, that was the end of translator. They wanted nothing to do with translations. They turned Joseph Smith into a myth. And he's now a supernatural person, having supernatural experiences. Though they acknowledge he was a real human. And now it's considered accurate history, literal history. And so with translation, King Follett Discourse, I know Joseph is a translator. He is correct, because the head god is named Yah in Genesis chapter 1, and he assigned his son Yah to do the work. And when he had finished the work, he was given a new name, Yahweh Elohim. Because I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I know with a physical, real witness through science, not through spiritual witness, to demand that science change. And that then led me to decipher the Egyptian characters that are not listed in the sign lists. Egyptology knows Egyptian because of the Rosetta Stone, the learning of the Greeks, the language of the Egyptians. That's as far as it goes for them. And so they don't know that the larger pictures are supposed to be included in their sign list too. And so I walked right into it. I am the only man on earth who figured that out. And then, having figured that out, I recognized that the Egyptian picture stories were in the Bible. And so I was a part of the Zeitgeist movement. Didn't even know that there was a Zeitgeist movement. It's because it was the movie named Zeitgeist. The Zeitgeist movie. D.M. Murdoch was the popular one who got interviewed in that movie. But I was doing the exact same research, but because of my education, I was the only one developing theories to be tested for confirmation. D.M. Murdoch focused on the New Testament and recognized the stories from the Egyptian stories, but that's as far as she went. She just claimed that the Bible, therefore, was plagiarized. Gary Greenberg, 101 Myths of the Bible, he just assumed that the information was known to everybody, so there were no referencing. And Christians jumped all over that to claim that it was all false, because they don't know anything about Egyptian. And it was not fitting into their Jesus box. And so he became their enemy. And so when D.M. Murdoch died on Christmas 2015, Christians all thought it was a sign from God that he was unhappy with her and smote her down. But here I am. And in that discovery, doing the work to show how it was done, explaining it in videos, guess what? Ezekiel 37, fulfilled in the latter days by me, and only me. The brass plates, same thing, by me. And so now they can fulfill the prophecy given by Lehi that they're going to all the world. I have been in the Mormons' midst since August 1996. And Mormons knew me not, because they have all been deceived by the false Christs and false prophets of the great and abominable church, who have no fruit, whose fruit is evil and corrupt and seditious and treasonous and terrorist and criminal. That they have turned the true prophet, seer, revelator, and translator into their enemy, and have all contributed to his death, being cast out from among them. We'll close with section 112 of the Doctrine and Covenants, verses 23 to 26. Verily, verily, I say unto you, darkness covereth the earth, and gross darkness the minds of the people. and all flesh has become corrupt before my face. Behold, vengeance cometh speedily upon the inhabitants of the earth, a day of wrath, a day of burning, a day of desolation, of weeping, of mourning, and of lamentation. And as a whirlwind it shall come upon all the face of the earth, saith the Lord. And upon my house shall it begin. The temple. Which temple? The headquarters of the great and abominable church, as the Book of Mormon tells us, has the symbol of Lucifer on the keystone of the doors of the temple, at the headquarters of the great and abominable church, for which the doctrine of Lucifer is taught within. The covenants of secrecy, of sedition against America, to overthrow it with loyalty to the church and the penalty of death. That temple that needs to be destroyed and have Joseph's restored. And everybody watching this video knows exactly which temple, at which headquarters I'm referring to. They cover it up with a wall. They blur out the pictures of it so that people don't see it. Brigham Young was bold in putting it up so that all could see who his God is. And now they're ashamed? They don't want to tell people that they worship Lucifer, as they call him Jesus, the creation of Constantine. So not only is it the wrong God, it's an idol God that the church posts up for everybody to see. As Nelson did it in symbolic form for the idol image to represent the church. As he can't translate correctly the scriptures that talk about the cornerstone becoming the capstone. Instead, he translated it as chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. And for Israel, dealing with the gathering and the true prophet, seer, revelator, and translator of the latter days, he said, let God prevail. Thus fulfilling, he is the false Christ, prophesied of the latter days. He is Gog of the land of Magog. And from my house shall it go forth, saith the Lord. The church had been plotting to overthrow the governments for 200 years, as they've been doing battle with the United States of America, employing polygamy to increase in population, to scattering people out into different settlements to keep people out. The Mountain Meadows Massacre was one such event, denying people settling. First among those among you, saith the Lord, who have professed to know my name, and have not known me, and have blasphemed against me in the midst of my house, saith the Lord. Which Christ do you believe in again? Which doctrines? There is only one truth, and yours is wrong. So, with that, I bid you brethren adieu.